Hi, everyone. Oh, okay, I will let people walk in. I want to get a show of hands before I start, just kind of like make sure that I know who I'm talking to. Who is indie developer? Raise of hands. Okay. Who are students? Okay. Okay, so we're kind of at an equal ratio. That'll be great. Triple A, maybe, but I'm assuming you're not here. So, hi, my name is Kayla. It's very nice to meet you. I'm glad that you could make it. I'm a solo indie developer, and I'm working on my game Mealtime. I say solo in brackets because I do work with freelancers and people that assist me part-time. So it's not just all me that you're going to see today, but it's like 70% me. Mealtime is, to give you just a little bit of context, Mealtime is a little adventure game that's super whimsical. It's about delivering meal to forest animals. And I'm going to show you a super quick 30 seconds trailer. It's pretty recent, just to get you a vibe of what we're talking about. And I hope it plays. Oh my God. With no audio. Perfect. Wait. Let me see if I can fix it really quick. Let me see. Is it good? I think otherwise. It might be this one, I'm guessing. And otherwise, we're just going to straight up skip this. All right, it does not matter. We will skip it today. You can watch it online. So today we're not going to really talk specifically about Mealtime itself because it's not, the intricacies of how the game works is not really, I think, super relevant. We're more so going to share how I structure my game development process and everything around that, and kind of I think how I do that quite differently maybe than is traditionally expected. And that's very, very much influenced by the fact that I'm Gen Z, which is probably why you're here. Quick disclaimer, it's my experience. If you do this, it'll probably be different because everything is different. I think it's highly encouraged that you experiment, find what works for you. If something entirely different from this works for you, I think you should just keep doing that and not listen to me. If you disagree, you can raise a hand at the end and we can have a discussion, or you can tweet about it, really mad. That would be great too. And there's data in this talk that I don't normally show, and that's fine. You can take pictures of it. The slides will be on Twitter as well. You're allowed to pretty much ask me anything because I'm barely under NDA, so that's great. So before I made Mealtime, I actually worked on this game. It's called Reach SOS. It's an atmospheric puzzle game, and we made it as students with 5 people in 8 weeks, super quick, released it. And Apple was looking at it, and they're like, this looks pretty cool. We're going to give it about 100 Game of the Day features. And we're like, what? So it is sitting at 2 million downloads nowadays, and we made exactly €0 off of it, no money at all ever. We technically, therefore, made a loss on it because we actually spent time making it, so that was not great. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make another game. Probably should make money this time. Let's kind of think about this. So I want money. To get money, apparently, I need to actually sell my game. No one's just going to give it to me for free. Very annoying. If you want to give it to me for free, great. Then I will stop talking and just leave. So to get those sales, I'm going to need wish lists, apparently. And those wish lists are essentially, if you don't know, which would be a little bit, I think, strange, wish lists on Steam. It's basically people subscribing to get an email notification when your game launches. So to get those wish lists, I'm probably going to need a community to kind of hype up the game and talk about it and make other people think my game is super important. You can totally bypass that with signing with Devolver or any other giant publisher, but they're going to take a pretty big chunk of your money, and also how are you going to even get them to sign? So, okay, I'm going to need this community. How do I get a community? I'm probably just going to need to talk to a whole bunch of people. And some of them will be okay, that sounds pretty cool. I'll be a part of your community. So I'm going to need to reach probably millions of people to get even a community of 10,000. So, okay, I'm going to need to reach a lot of people. How do you reach a lot of people? Well, you have really good social media content. Preferably you even go viral. So I was like, okay, fuck. How do you go viral? Like, who even knows how to go viral these days outside of like these really strange help articles that just like scrape Google for the answer and don't help you at all? So it's like, okay, how do you go viral? Content creators know, like Twitch streamers, YouTubers, this is their job. Like they literally, all they think about is, how do I go viral? So it's like, okay, they probably talk about it. I can just steal everything they do and just transfer it over to game development, and it should be a winning formula. And I'm expecting to get lots and lots of money next year. We'll see how it goes. So I was like, okay, we're gonna steal content creator techniques. Great. I'm also, I think, younger generations, that's both Gen Z and millennials, by the way, we kind of grow up looking at a lot of social media content, so we kind of have an inherent feeling for kind of like editing and what goes viral on social media, so you already have a leg up. Great, because you're gonna need it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna use everything I already know, which is like just that I gained by actually using social media, combine it with a bit of research and kind of try it out. But can't just post on social media if your game isn't ready to be posted. So we're sadly going to have to change some things about how we develop our game too. So before you start, the whole idea that this like super depends on is that you're going to have to build around content creation. You can't just traditionally develop a game, like hire a community manager and like tell them, good luck, I'm expecting 1 million followers next week. To be able to regularly create content, you're going to have your game be ready for content creation pretty much all the time. You're also going to be doing open development, so you can't really, like, you're removing the opportunity from yourself to, like, talk to Nintendo and basically say, like, we're going to do an announcement trailer with you guys, because you already announced your game, because you're posting about it. So you're removing those opportunities, but also, like, I don't know about you, but I don't have a direct contact at Nintendo right now, so I wasn't really going to, like, hedge my bets on the fact that Nintendo was going to magically reach out to me, especially when no one knew me anyway. So I was like, okay, well, whatever. We can throw that out the window. So you're going to be doing open development. That means everyone's going to see everything you're doing pretty much. And when your game does launch, press can go completely back and drag up really old screenshots of your game. And believe me, they will use them in their articles. And it's going to look a little bit embarrassing. But you know the price you pay. So that means visual first development. I heavily focus on visuals because that's what people see on social media, and you need them to stop scrolling. So there's always a part of the game that's camera ready no matter what. Like, I can be refactoring an entire system. It does not matter. Some of the game looks pretty, and I can take screenshots of it. And you kind of just trick people into thinking your game looks beautiful all the time. So at the start, that's what this is. I kind of like made the main character for the game, and I made literally 2 rocks and a tree, and I like put it around this whole environment. I was like, sick. Like, it doesn't look great, but it looks more than it is, because it's essentially like 3 3D models and a character. And the character wasn't even really animated. I just retargeted it to some like existing stuff. And you just start posting with it, and you can already start building a little bit, and it's like, it's not huge, but it's good to kind of get it going. So I would heavily consider your strengths there, because if you're going to be doing this content creation, you're going to be spending a lot of time on that, and you can't really do everything all the time. So it's better to just kind of like focus on what you can actually do and just forget about literally everything else. So it's like, oh no, I didn't go to school for game design, so I'll just probably use existing mechanics. It's fine, no one's really going to notice, because I can make like really nice looking 3D art, and people are going to be like, wow, that's such an original game. There's other games that can do different things. So if you're like super good in gameplay and game design, I think it really leans us into super striking gameplay. This is like a great game. It goes viral all the time just because like you look at it for 3 seconds and you're immediately like super interested in what this game can do and like what you could explore within the systems. Or it can do super funny scenarios. Scroll with a gun, it goes viral. Some people don't like this game for some reason, but I think it's absolutely genius. It's just whatever game you make sure that like it can fit into a 6-second GIF. And for some games, that's not going to work very well. And I don't have a solution to that other than like, just don't make those type of games. I would just, if you can't show it in a 6-second GIF, I just kind of pass on it. And if you can figure it out, that's great, but tell me how to do it. So if we set up the development that way, you kind of just restructure things to be around content creation. You're going to have to do that very regularly, so you make a few changes. That mostly means that you run towards a vertical slice so fast. I don't think I ever did a prototype for Mealtime. It was a vertical slice after like 2 months. And then I just kept building out from a vertical slice. And then we're going to have to do marketing. And marketing is kind of like what I mean is more social media, actually. I don't do like traditional marketing because no social media platform in the world can get me to pay for an impression if I can literally just get them for free. You could pay for it, but I don't even know how that works. So social media is incredible because they already do all the work to get the users, and all you have to do is make good content to reach them, but like they're already gathered for you in a platform. You don't even have to like build up your mailing list or whatever. So my marketing funnel kind of looks like it's Twitter and TikTok for giant exposure, and then I try to always board people into the Discord. I want to get everyone in my Discord, because in my Discord, actually, I can reach them all the time whenever I want. And then I want them to wishlist or eventually, make a sale. Wishlists are not my prime concern. I like to get them in my Discord over wishlists. We'll kind of get into that later. So the main caveat with this is that for any of these social media platforms you use, you do really have to understand them. You can't just randomly edit a 30-second video, throw it on TikTok, and expect it to get 6 million views, because that's not really how this works. You have to really understand the culture of a platform, so that means that you're going to probably have to spend time on it. If you really hate Twitter, and you really despise every minute you spend on there, probably don't use Twitter for marketing purposes then. You're going to want to split your goals amongst platforms. Just be really conscious of who you're talking to and where. Because if you're on your Twitter and you're making all of these in-jokes about game development, or you're making jokes about oh no, I hate solving bugs or whatever, but funny, game developers are going to like that, and they're going to like it and share it and talk about it. But I don't know about you, but as a game developer, I don't actually end up playing that many games. And I certainly don't end up buying that many games. So really who you want to talk to is an actual gaming audience. And gaming audiences, as is probably evident by game discourse, don't really understand how games are made. And don't seem to really care either. They'll go with their misconception, and they do not want to be educated. So it's better to just kind of not even focus on that and just be doesn't this game look cool? And they'll be wow, that looks cool. You're great. Let's not talk about it further. So really think about who you're talking to on what platforms, maybe split it up. If you want to have a Twitter for professional purposes, split that up from your actual game Twitter, that kind of thing. Don't do more than you can handle, though. If you can only handle one Twitter account, just pick. So it's always better to have active platforms than have every social media you can think of, but never post anywhere. So we're going to talk about TikTok first. TikTok is my absolute favorite. I think if you're not on TikTok, you're missing out on a really, really large audience. TikTok just passed 1 billion monthly active users. That's over twice the size of Twitter. So if you're investing everything in Twitter, you're basically hedging on an egg that is half the size. It's still smaller than YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, but I would expect it to pass Instagram pretty quickly, because Instagram is on a downwards spiral. Facebook and YouTube are just giants. If you can do a successful YouTube channel, that's great. It's just that YouTube videos take a long time to make. So, but giant YouTube creators can do really good marketing. So on TikTok, you have a curated algorithm. What that means is it's not chronological, and it's not based on who you follow. It's based on this algorithm that they have that just essentially looks at your activity and everything you do on the app, and just kind of figures out what content you would probably like to see next. And pretty much all users browse TikTok that way. Like, not a lot of them exclusively go to their following tab and only look at content from people they follow. For context, like, I think a good 96% of my views come directly from the For You page, which is their like algorithm page. The great benefit of that is that you have huge reach potential because you're not bound to your followers. You're just directly bound to however many people are on TikTok. So that those billion users, you could reach all of them. I don't think anyone ever has. But you can get pretty high up. So TikTok is really based around audio trends, which means people reuse the same pieces of audio to make their videos, and this can become a whole trend, and then everyone does it, and you can do your own take on it with your game. And because it's a trend, the algorithm will kind of pick up on that. And it'll be like, OK, you've liked a bunch of videos with this audio, so we're going to give you more. So if you can really play into that, you can go viral really fast. You're still going to have to do it like kind of smart and be funny about it, or like have a new take on things. Like, you can't just like reuse someone else's content necessarily. But if you have a really striking game and you just do a trend that's big on TikTok, I think you have a pretty good chance to like at least reach 100,000 views, if not much higher. Don't be cringe on TikTok. I see a lot of people that go on TikTok and they have this like, I don't know how else to describe it, but millennial energy. Where they're like trying to, like, they think it's like this like vibe of that it's cool to be a corporation or cool to be a business. Whereas on TikTok, really what users want is authenticity and like to feel like they're talking to a person. So if you're making your TikTok account and you're like, this is studio, insert a name, and we're so cool because we have 12 people working here, everyone on TikTok is like, can you shut up? Like, what are you doing here? So kind of be mindful of that. Conversion on TikTok is pretty okay, I would say. I haven't been really able to measure Twitter conversion very much, but on TikTok it's super easy to measure. And also I know a lot more TikTok people, so I was able to ask them. And we kind of came to 100K views means 100 wish lists or 100 sales. And that's pretty consistent across the board. Paige, who is the community manager for AgroCrab, sees pretty much the exact same conversion, which is pretty nice because you can directly look at how many views you're getting, and if a video is going viral and you're like, oh my god, that's 1 million views, you're pretty reliably going to get 1,000 wish lists. That's nice. Sometimes, though, it's super different, but that seems to more so be like one video that does super differently than other videos. It doesn't seem to be across accounts. So a streamer made a TikTok about my game. It got up 1.6 million views, and it did 4,000 wish lists. That's a much higher conversion rate than I otherwise see. So I haven't been able to figure out if that's like because it's another person talking about your thing, because I haven't had that many people go viral, frankly, talking about my game. So I will let you know. You can kind of see here, this is my TikTok data. So this is like, you can see a view spike of a viral video. And it directly translates to my wishlist actions, which is this peak. You can also see that Gamescom is the exact same as posting a TikTok. And that TikTok took me 30 minutes on a Saturday. And Gamescom was a trailer that we worked on for 3 weeks. So I love showing this to my publisher. So I'm like, yeah, we should totally spend more time on this trailer. I think it's going to do really well. But also, I'm going to edit this TikTok real quick. So this is me on TikTok. As you'll notice, it's not like, because my company is technically called Appelmoes Games, because I need a legal entity. But I don't call any of my accounts that because I'm acting like a content creator. So like, what do content creators do? They have screen names. So on most platforms, I use Kayla Makes Games. But on here, I already had an existing account with this username when it went viral. And I have kept it because I did ask my community. I was like, oh, should I change it to be like the same as my other platforms? And they were like, no, it's better this way because it's like a little bit more chaotic. And users on TikTok kind of like, for some reason, they really like this like chaotic vibe, and they like the fact that it's not super uniform and it's a little bit weird. But I did make sure to put my name right below my screen name, so like my actual name is on it, and I remind them of what my name is very frequently, because I want them to hear my name later when I'm making another game, and they can be like, oh, that's the same person. I don't really want to be a company, because it's just me anyway. So TikTok content is short, fast, vertical, and low effort. I found 10 to 30 seconds in length is perfect. Anything above that, no one watches anyway. Anything below that, it's a little bit too short for the algorithm to really appreciate watch time, which is what they do a lot of their algorithm with. You want fast cuts because Gen Z have no attention span whatsoever. So that's about 2 to 5 seconds. I do not do clips that are longer than 5 seconds. I do not even have them in vertical format. You do have to do vertical footage. So if you have like a horizontal game, if you're going to put it like horizontally on a vertical screen, it's going to be so small that everyone scrolls past because they can't even see it. If you turn it and ask people to turn their phone, Gen Z does not like effort. They're not going to do it. They're going to scroll right past you. So you're going to have to zoom that in and then capture it. If you have a game that's super vertical, turn off the HUD. Just turn it off, still record it, and you'll probably be better off. So I added it completely in the TikTok app because I do not want this to be any effort. Like the lower the bar is, the better. So in the app, it's pretty simple. It's going to force you to not be super strict with it, because if you're going to take it into After Effects, you're going to spend hours on a TikTok. Not great. So I do it in the actual TikTok editing app. It'll take you a little bit of time to get used to, but it's pretty nice. And then the way I kind of do it is I browse TikTok a lot, and I find sounds that are trending, or I see that they're trending, or I see them a lot, or I just think of an idea I could do with it. I immediately save the sound, and I start making a draft. So I fill up my phone every kind of like week with a whole bunch of 2 to 5 seconds clips of the game that I just curate. And I do this like very frequently so that I just have them all on my phone. By now I have hundreds of these clips. And I reuse them all the time. Like I do not think about like, oh, I've used this one already, because no one even notices. I've never had a single comment that's like, I've seen this clip before, because they just assume it's the game from a different angle. So I just like, there's this auto editing feature in TikTok. I like import like 10 clips, and then I press the auto editing button, and it automatically like cuts them to the beat of the sound. Great. Add some text on it, you're good to go. You're pretty much ready to publish in 30 minutes. You're going to want to be authentic and transparent. Like users on TikTok hate it when you're like super corporate. Is mainly the thing. It's mainly just feeling corporate. Like it's feeling the Facebook vibes. Hate it. They want to feel like they're special. They want to feel like you're making this for them, and they're like super included in the process of making this game, even if they're not. Right? Like sometimes I'll post on TikTok and I'm like, oh my God, do you guys like this one or this one better? And I've probably already made up my mind. So unless it's like 90% to the choice that I wasn't gonna make, I'm not really gonna actually listen to them. It's mainly to drive engagement, because if I say, do you like A or B, they're all gonna comment A or B, and I get more comments. It's good for the algorithm. So you're going to want to respond to comments a lot, because comments are great for algorithms. So you're going to get like, oh my God, you get the same questions over and over and over again. I have been asked release date, platforms, price, is it free, is it mobile? Probably 2 to 10 times a day for the past year, every year. I have answered these questions hundreds of times, and I still do it every time because it gives me more engagement, and it's great. And that's just how TikTok works. So these are some great TikTok accounts. This is Steven on the left. He has this great formula. He films himself chaotically typing, and then he's like, I made a thing, and then he shows you 10 seconds of gameplay. And that's all he does, and he gets millions of views. He gets so many wishes, it's insane. And he has found a format, and he just does it the same way every time, and his game is striking, and it just works. And because of that, the intro is the same, it's him chaotically typing. It's both casual, it feels real, and it's recognizable for users, so they're going to stick around. Then you have Anna, who also does super well on Twitter, but is now also on TikTok. Same type of thing. What she does is she shows off features of her game, because it's this almost like a toy-like building game. So she responds to comments that have ideas for her game, but she just finds the one that have an idea that is already a feature, and she responds to the comment with a TikTok, and she's like, oh my god, yeah, I added this to the game. But she already posted it on Twitter, like it's already a part of the game. And she just like does super well with that too. Then you have actual studios on there. So if you are a little bit bigger, you can still do TikTok without, I don't know, maybe trying to act quirky. You have Landfall Games, who post probably every day. That's a little bit much for me, but it does great for them. What they do is they've trained their audience to ask questions, and they respond to questions with videos. So because they keep consistently like replying to questions, people ask more questions. And like not all of them go super viral. Like you can see one with 70K views, which is very low for them, but it's fine because they post every day. So there's one with 3 million views in there. That's what they're angling for with all the other ones, essentially. AgroCrap's doing a great job. They were at, I think, 50K followers last year when they hired Paige to do their TikTok. And they hired her because she already, on her personal account, went viral on TikTok. Like, they hired her specifically to do TikTok. And she's a great community manager in other platforms too, but she shines on TikTok, and they do super well with like this super chaotic style of content, where they post a lot more like, I think, outtakes of things and like things that are going wrong and bugs, but in a funny manner instead of like let's talk technically how this bug happened. It's more like, we gave a gun to our crab. And everyone's like, that sounds cool. So yeah, those are some great accounts. I would highly recommend just like looking at accounts that do really well and trying to figure out what their formula is, and like especially accounts that have viral videos, like why do you think that one specifically went viral? Twitter is super strange because there's like a lot of different people on there. Overall, what I've found is hashtags exist, but they don't really tend to do anything for me. It seems retweets are where it's at. So I kind of like stopped using hashtags. You'll see in my earlier tweets that I have more hashtags, and then like now I don't really ever use them. The platform clearly has a strong preference for GIF and video-based content. And it's great for building a network in the game industry. So that's what I use my Twitter for. You can engage with like Screenshot Saturday and Indie Dev Hour, but be aware it's mainly other game developers. So it's great for like finding a publisher and that kind of thing. It's not so great for like building up to 100K wish lists. Because gamers aren't like on their Saturday going like, Screenshot Saturday, I wonder what they're making. They're going to read Kotaku and just figure it out from there. So me on Twitter is I kind of stopped focusing on consumers on there because I do it with TikTok. And my TikTok, I think, gets like 2 million views a month on average. So I'm not going to reach that with Twitter anyway. Or at least I haven't. So I'm not going to, like, it's not a big enough stream for me to like focus on it in that way. So I focus on other developers, content creators, and press. Because I want to build a network because I am new to this industry. So I show more behind-the-scenes content there. And like sometimes technical deep dives, like threads, that kind of thing, and my opinions on things. So that is less relatable for a normal gamer, but it's a lot more interesting to game developers because they like seeing how things are made. So I always attach a GIF or a video or an image. Caption is usually related to that. I also post a lot more there on accomplishments and that kind of thing. So like if I'm doing a talk, I'll talk about it on Twitter. If I'm, I don't know, like doing a new platform, or if I got a trailer that did really well, I'll talk about it on Twitter, but it's much more like aimed at other developers. I interact a whole lot with other people on Twitter because I find local, like this, like a specific like local industry to be really hard to get into when you don't have, like when you're not already a 3 games published type of person. Like it's super hard to get established when you're showing up to an event and they're like, they don't know you, so they're already not talking to you. And then when you talk to them, you look young, so you look like a student, which is fine. But therefore they'll assume you're a student and they don't want to talk to you. So like I've had experiences where no one will really have a conversation with me until I mention I have a publisher, which is a little bit strange. But like on Twitter, people just see my game, think it's cool, and want to talk to me about it. And I can do it the other way around too. Like I see people's games, I think they're cool, I'll talk about it. So I like Twitter a lot for that sense. So once we have Twitter and TikTok, we're going to try to funnel them into Discord. Discord's where we kind of just where I house my community, and I would highly recommend you do it too, because you can actually talk to them. Instead of like on Twitter, it's always a little bit like character limit type of things, and like it's a little bit more public, it's not so private. So it's a different energy. So, and also they can talk to each other, which is great, because then they can like be excited about your game without you having to do anything, which is ultimately, I think, the goal. But I wouldn't set one up until you have a fair amount of people that you could probably funnel into it, because nothing is like more awkward than a Discord that's completely empty and like has no activity going on. So you're going to want to make sure that you can probably get 50 to 100 people in there in week 1, because that sets a nice activity baseline, which I got. I think I was at like 5,000 or 6,000 followers on TikTok when I set up the Discord, and I got 100 people in there in day 1. So it's like not too hard. At least it was in my experience. I don't know. We'll see. I would find a fun thematic structure, because you want to keep people engaged in your Discord. If it's just like general channel, fun pictures, like, you know, it's boring, it's the same as every Discord, you want it to be kind of like different. So I chose, like, my game is super cute and like kind of cottagecore-y, so I chose 4 things. I chose, what was it? Frogs, mushrooms, bugs, strawberry, and I made teams. So I forced people to pick a team, like it's a Hogwarts house, and there's no purpose to it, and they're not characters in my game, it's just like thematic. And I made them pick a team, and then they have like access to a special team channel, and then I host contests and I make them compete. And it makes them feel like this community with a specific part of the community, and it makes them super excited to stick around and like be proud of the fact that they're a bug. So my Discord started in May 2021, got to about 250 people in the first month. Then the next month, I had my first viral TikTok since I started the Discord, which made us grow to 2,000 people overnight, which is a little bit much. I would not recommend it. Continued to grow to 6,000 3 months later. And then now we're at about 8,000 people a year and a half after launching the server, and we just got partnered, which is pretty fun. It just means that Discord sends you a little bit of merch, and you get like a cool blue badge next to your server, and that's about it. I wish there were more perks. So the vast majority of my Discord members come from TikTok, which makes sense because I focus my TikTok on consumers and my Twitter's focused on developers. And developers really do not have the time to join like a whole bunch of Discords. And we set up super clear values around kindness, inclusivity, and creativity, because Discords can get out of hand and become like cesspools of toxic behavior so quickly. So I was like, okay, we got to minimize that ASAP. So we kind of like heavily lean on people moderating themselves, keeping it kind, keeping it nice. We make pronouns available to people and kind of like set the tone with that kind of way. We also have pretty strict auto-moderation bots that like purge a whole bunch of words, and you cannot post any links, so we can avoid scammers. That does mean it's more closed, but like, at least I don't have to track down scammers every hour of the day. So people are incentivized to join with, we have a whole bunch of emotes. You can have like 250 at max, and I have 250. And I drew them all by hand because they're all related to the teams. And they're cute, so people stay around for them. They also get to vote on things for the game, so like the game logo, for example. And we did a demo challenge. So when we first released the demo, I made it so that with a very difficult jump, you could get out of bounds. And then essentially, I put it in the pause menu, and I said, hey, if you can get out of bounds and collect the like bottle cap that's there, then I'll give you a special Discord role. And there's like nothing to the role. It's just bragging rights. It also made people find things that were out of bounds that they didn't know they could get to. But it created a lot of like buzz around it, and we actually had, I think we had 800 people join directly from the demo after they collected this bottle cap, and they get like the prompt. So it like was really great for conversion, and it got people talking. For every time the demo is live, they talk about this, which means I don't have to give them any other content to talk about for like a week. It's great. We then encourage them to stay through contests. You know, the teams I talked about, we do a question of the day tag, that kind of thing, answers questions they can answer. They can look at content first, everything like that. This is like a contest we ran where it was like I gave them the base for my player character, and I was like, design your own. And like 100 people gave me a drawing. It's like, great. Now I have to judge them all, which is less fun. But you know, just doing these contests, we used to do one weekly. Now we kind of do them more monthly because I do not have the time. But they're great for engagement because that means there's something always going on in your Discord for people to engage with. Sustainability, mod team, trusted members, because I don't want to be around all the time. I have a game to make, turns out. It'll never be super self-sufficient, so I am there probably every day talking to people because it makes them feel like I'm more available and I'm more connected, and they build more of a honestly a parasocial relationship with me, which is maybe ethically not the greatest, but great for wish lists. So we reward certain members with roles, so long-time active members can get a special role that gets them access to a special channel. And the only benefit of that channel is that I have notifications on for it. It just guarantees I read your message if you send something. We have one for content creators, and we have one for server boosters and Twitch subscribers because, they're paying for something. That's nice. Notably, I do not have a role for game developers, so if you join my Discord, you're just going to be a normal person there. That's because it's not really meant for you guys. So if I give you a special role, it would only encourage more game developer talk, and gamers don't really like game developer talk because they don't get it. So by not giving you a role, you just don't really join. Sorry. Then we're going to network. This is kind of there's a hard bridge to go to this, but I wanted to talk about it briefly. Most of all, just be nice to people. Found it works. But also, you're going to have to network. You cannot be super introverted in this industry, I found out. If you are super shy and introverted, you're probably going to have to find a way around it. Because most opportunities come from just talking to people. That means that there's a lot of nepotism in this industry. And that's because it's a stressful industry. There's tight deadlines, there's tight budgets, and so it makes sense. But also, it's a little shitty when you're trying to get into the industry that no one will give you an opportunity because they're well, we just need to get this done, so we're just going to hire someone that has already shipped a game, and it's going to be great, and we're going to just get it done, it's fine. Or someone I know because I trust them. This is super noticeable if you're marginalized. I don't have a solution, but I hope to change a little bit about it in the coming years. Communities can be so hard to get into or even learn about. I think a great example of this is the Dutch game industry Slack. So if you don't know about it, there you go, it exists. I think it's a pretty good case study in how probably not to set up a community that's meant to be open and welcoming. So if you run it, sorry. I would highly recommend that you keep the door open for other people to come in. So if you manage to get a job somewhere, see if you can get other people in that try to get into the game industry. I think it's nice, take meetings with people that want feedback, that kind of thing. That's more so of a PSA that I just want to say. I recommend you attend events. This is probably super normal to you if you're already in the game industry, but since there's students here. Gamescom, GDC, EGX, PAX, local events. Women in Games, Netherlands lunch is great, if you're a woman. I think the more you're seen around places, the more competent you seem. Doesn't really matter if you're actually competent, because no one plays your game anyway. Most people that you know in the game industry, have you played all of their games? Probably not. So if you just show up a lot, people are okay, well, they probably know what they're on about. Or they're part of the industry, because I see them all the time. I plan a lot of meetings at events, and most of these meetings are not super professional, because I don't, my game's already signed with a publisher, and I'm working on it. There's nothing to talk about. There's no business opportunities right now. But I still plan meetings, because then at least I don't show up for a whole day to an event with nothing to do. So I'll just DM people via Twitter. I'm I love your work. I see you're going to this event. I would love to grab a coffee or whenever you have time, and then just plan a few meetings throughout the day so you have at least something to do. And then they'll probably tell you about parties you can go to, so you don't even have to figure that out yourself. I prefer Twitter over business cards. I forgot my business cards for GDC. sorry if I talked to you at GBC and I did not have a business card. But it was actually a great, I found out that because I didn't have that, I was like, oh no, but I do have a Twitter, so I can give you my Twitter. And like on the spot, I would like ask them for their Twitter and like look them up on Twitter, which kind of like subconsciously prompts them to do the same to you and follow you back. And a Twitter mutual is like 10 times more valuable than them having your business card in a drawer somewhere. So that was actually great. I tend to not bring business cards that much anymore. A little hack. I would also spend the majority of your time listening and asking questions. You'll be surprised how much NDAs are broken if you just kind of listen. And then you can use that. So that's it. The slides will be on Twitter. And I do not know if we have time for questions. Fuck.
Thank you so much, though. So many tips about Discord and also the other thing. What was it called again? TikTok?
TikTok, yes.
Yeah. Do not be cringe on TikTok is what I learned.
Yes, yes.
How? I'm not sure yet, but I'll ask you later. So if you have questions for Kayla, you can ask her. She's going to be around.
Yes.
Sadly, we have no time for it, but thank you so
Sadly.
much.
Thank you.